Hey, what is going on, guys? RK here, and today we're going to take a look at all the classes and all the races in World of Warcraft, and we're going to see which ones go best together. Alright, so we're going to start with Alliance, and we're going to start with humans. So, humans, they have increased haste, critical strike, master, and versatility, so you really can't go wrong with picking humans. I mean, they're good for any class because of that. Before Legion, everyone had a PvP trinket. I mean, only humans had a PvP trinket, which was so annoying, but now now everyone gets a PvP trinket, and humans are just a little extra better in PvE because they get a trinket in PvE. And what that means is you can get out of all stuns and movement impairing effects and slows and whatever. Alright, so you can't really go with picking humans, like I said, just they're good for any class. Okay, so dwarves, they can take on a stone form, and before, it only reduced all physical damage by 10%. Well, until I think Mop, Mr. Pandera, it only, sorry. In Worlds of Draenor, it only reduced all physical damage by 10%. But now they brought back that it removes all poison, disease, curse, magic, and bleed effects. And that's how it was before Mop, I think, or Warlords of Draenor, I'm not sure, but now they brought that back in Legion, which is nice for dwarves. They have increased effect from critical strikes, and they have, I think, healing and critical strike increased by 2%, which is nice. A critical strike is nice for, let's say, Fury Warriors. It's good for Fire Mages. Healing is good for, priests. And they're resistant to frost damage, so if you're fighting a Frost Mage, it's good. And find additional archaeology fragments and survive faster. I mean, that doesn't really help unless you're an archaeologist. Alright, so on to the Night Elves. So the Night Elves, I mean, they're Night Elves. They can fade into shadows. They're difficult to hit. They have faster movement while stealthed, faster attacks at night, and increased critical strike during the day. So you have to go with Rogue or Druid. I mean, and Demon Hunter, of course, because I can't pick a Demon Hunter right now because I'm gonna pre-purchase. I still didn't pre-purchase Legion, and I'm gonna do it today. So for Night Elves, Rogues, Druids, and Demon Hunters are the best. Alright, on to the Gnomes. Now, the Gnomes, they can escape from speed altering effects, and what that means is that they can remove speed reduction effects with their racial ability, which is, again, good for... Actually, I think melee classes benefit more from this, because you have to stay on your target the whole time, and it's hard when you get slowed. Increased resource pool, that's also good for any class pretty much. Resistance arcane damage, so when you're attacking, when you're dueling an arcane mage, it helps. Engineering skill increase, that doesn't really help unless you're an engineer. I mean, go with engineering if you're gonna go gnome. And attacks faster, so this is good for rogue and a fury warrior, we can say. So I would choose those two. So rogue or warrior is pretty good. And monk, of course. I forgot about monks. Yes, monks. They're also good. Alright, so Draenei. Jewel crafting skill increased. So if you're Draenei, go with jewel crafting. May heal self or others over time. Alright, so that's good for any class, but I would go with something that doesn't have heals. It's better for classes that don't have heals, because, I mean, for example, let's say warrior, they don't have heals, so an extra heal, or not an extra, the only heal, I'm kidding, the extra heal comes in handy. Increased agility, intellect, and strength. Now this is for shamans, definitely. I would say shamans, red paladins, or warriors. I would say shamans here top because I mean agility for enhancement shaman, intellect for elemental, and restoration shamans. So I would go with paladin, warrior, shaman. My first one would be shaman, then paladin, and warrior, and then the caster classes, which are also good because of the intellect increased. Alright, so on to the worgen. It can periodically move quickly. So I would go, this is good for hunters, for kiting. Critical chance increased, so for rogues and hunters, I guess. Um, also good for, really good for fire mages because of that critical strike chance increased. Skinning skill and speed increased, so they're all about the speed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would go here with rogue, hunter, or mage, or maybe even a fury warrior because of that critical chance increased, and you can stay on the target because you can move faster at times. Alright, on to the Pandaren. So you can join Horde or Alliance at level 10. May put enemies to sleep with a touch of their hand. So they have a racial that incapacitates an enemy for 4 seconds. I mean, they're good with monks, I guess. They're the best for monks because their whole theme is about monks. Inner peace means twice as much rested XP, so that's good for anything. Increased benefits from eating food. Yeah, they look like they eat a lot of food. Cooking skill increased. Bouncy and take less fall damage, so monks here are probably the best choice. Alright, so on to the horde now. So we got the orcs, and may enrage to increase damage. So these guys increase attack power, which is really good for warriors. They're resistant to stun effects. This is really good. I think it's 20%. I'm not really sure, but they get a lot of decrease in stun time. So that's good for any class, especially in PvP. Damage done by pets increase. Now I would go. That's really good for hunters or warlocks too. Obviously, if you're going marksmanship hunter and you take the lone wolf talent, then you won't be getting any benefits from this because you won't have a pet. So that's just something to keep in mind. But if you're going beast mastery hunter, it's really good because you get damage by pets increased. So I would go with warrior or hunter. That would be my top 2 choices. And then my third choice would be warlocks. Undead. It can remove fear, sleep, and charm. So I think that's really good for rogues because with rogues you have to stay on your target the whole time, and just like with warriors, so melee classes, monks also, but I would choose a rogue here definitely because it can drain health from enemies. So they have this ability that's called Touch of the Grave, and it has a chance to hit the target for a percentage of damage and heal you for the same amount. So you're attacking really fast with the rogue, of course, and you're gonna get that. You're gonna benefit from that a lot more than any other class because you're attacking really fast, and you're gonna benefit from that racial ability a lot more than any other class. So I would go with the rogue here, and also because you can remove fear, sleep, and charm effects, and you can just stay on your target and also get healed while attacking fast. So on to the Taurens. They can stop stunning nearby opponents. So I would go with the melee class here for sure. So warrior, paladin, or monk. And also because they get increased stamina, which is good for tanking. So warrior, paladin, monk, or death knight would be good here. Herbalism skill and speed increased. I mean, if you're gonna take herbalism as your profession, that's good. Resistant to nature damage. That's good for any class, and increased effect from critical strikes, and you get increased healing by 2% and critical strike by 2%. So I mean, that's cool for, I guess, druids, but I would go with the melee class here. I mean, they're also cool with druids, but like all the nature and stuff, and herbalism, that's the theme of the race, the tour. Alright, on to the trolls. Now they're berserk, so they get increasing attack and casting speed. So this is also good for rogues, pretty much any class. Casters, because they get casting speed increased. Regeneration increased. Now this is good for melee classes because once you don't attack, I mean, they don't have a heal. Of warriors, I'm sorry. They don't have a heal, so it's good for warriors because you can regenerate faster when you're not in combat. Increased experience gain from killing beasts, that's good for any class, and reduced duration of movement and pairing effects. Now, I think melee classes benefit more from this because you have to stay on the target, like I said, the whole time, and it's really hard when you're getting slowed, so this is good for a melee class. Alright, Blood Elves, so enchanting skill increased. That's good if you're going to be an enchanter. So can restore resources such as mana or energy now, and may silence nearby opponents, resistant to arcane damage. So I would go here with the paladin, just because this is they're good for melee class, because I mean, if you're a warrior, you can silence nearby opponents, because I mean, as a melee, you're gonna have more chances to silence nearby opponents because you're gonna rush into the battle. So this is good for a melee class, and may silence they can restore resources such as mana or energy. So I would go here with the paladin because you get the mana, because you can restore mana, and you can silence nearby opponents. Alright, so the goblins can rocket jump forward. They can launch rockets at enemies, so this is really good for casters. Receives vendor discounts, good for any class. Can periodically summon a personal bank, good for any class. Haste increased, again good for casters and some melee classes. Alchemy skill and potion healing increase. So I would go here with the caster for sure, because you can do all this range stuff, like launch rockets and jump forward. So that pretty much sums it all up. God, my throat hurts from talking so much at one time. But I try to make this as short as possible. That's why I was talking so fast. Alright, so guys, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.